have we heard anything back on that laminate order? Okay. Well, I'll send a follow-up email to the distributor, and we'll see if we can get some answers on that laminate order. My desk wine has gone bad. Can I come over to your desk and have some of yours? Well, you just said 2 seconds ago that I could come over and pour myself a glass. Yeah, some great coworker you are.
My wife's crazy about that kid. You just keep applauding, he might sing another one. Look.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a Wednesday night at 8, and we are live. Welcome to the Jack Girouard Show. This is episode 2 of a weekly show that I, your host, Jack Girouard, am doing. You know, I'm really happy to be here. Last week was the pilot, and I felt pretty good about it. I feel like as these go on, I'll get the formula down, I'll get looser, I'll get funnier, you know. We never know what's going to come up. But I've got a fun episode planned for you guys tonight. We got some activities. I want to talk about some stuff. I got a cool clip I want to show you. I got some bad news. Not like devastating news, but like news that like really gets me going, you know? So I have all my wisdom teeth, right? Like all 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you know what? Let me just draw it out for you here. You guys are going to love this. Okay, so imagine this right here. This is my head. This is my head, right? Here's my nose. My big nose. Yep, there's my big lips. Oh God. Oh, my masculine chin. Oh, this is great. So let's pretend that you guys are living in a camera, right? This is a camera. It's totally a camera, right? You guys are this camera, and what you're about to do is phase into the back of my head like this. You're about to phase in to the back of Jack's head like that. Now that you're phasing into the back of my head, we're going to be viewing my wisdom teeth from behind. So here is wisdom tooth number 1, right? Here's wisdom tooth number 2. Here, you ready for this one? Here is wisdom tooth number 3. And then here is wisdom tooth number 4. This is what's going on inside my mouth right now. They're all coming in. It's not messing up my teeth. My teeth aren't fucked up now, but, well, actually they are fucked up, because here's the bad news. My right wisdom tooth, don't you guys love that I'm sharing my dental records with you? So all my mouth parts, right, are like all right here. This is the inside of my mouth, right? And then tongue here, and yeah, these are my cheeks right here. Different kind of cheeks, not my other cheeks. So with a lot of wisdom teeth, this is a common problem with people who get their wisdom teeth in and don't get them taken out, which I haven't, is these spots right here, they're very hard to clean and reach around and get a toothbrush back there. And on my right tooth, some very bad decay has started right here on my back wisdom tooth. And now it means that I have to remove that tooth. And nobody just removes one wisdom tooth. So I now have to get all 4 of my wisdom teeth removed coming up. And that's like really stressing me out. That's the bad news that that's the worst thing I want to hear, because I'm so I'm like anti-injury. I don't think injury adverse is the right term. Maybe it is. But just the thought of me getting these teeth extracted is like really not good for me. But it's okay. I'll power through. Let's get my mind off of that. Let's talk about the music I listened to today. So this is the Getz Gilberto, Stan Getz, and Yao Gilberto. Yao, I think that's how you pronounce it. Portuguese, I'm fluent in it, right? Both Stan Getz is a phenomenal saxophone player. Gilberto is a bossa nova guitar genius, and Gilberto's wife, Astrid Gilberto, is also on this album as well. She sings a lot. And funnily enough, Stan Getz, this guy right here, he had an affair with Gilberto's wife, and they all sang great music together. It's a good time. Let's pull up the track list. I could talk about some of the tracks, because this is really a phenomenal bossa nova album. I mean, bossa nova is one of the best genres ever, and it's actually one of the favorite things I like to play on my guitar. While we do our episode and do our activities later on in the episode, if you guys want to listen to this album, highly recommend highly, highly, highly recommend. Girl from Ipanema, classic. Everybody knows that one. It's probably going to be the most familiar song on the album. I've never actually pronounced these words out loud. I've only listened to them. Instead of butchering all the names, I'm just honestly going to say, and I truly mean this, every song on here is a perfect song, and you can listen to the whole album start to finish, and you'll enjoy every second of it. So that's all I have to say on the album. Truly great music. It's now time to show you this really awesome clip. I saved this clip. I took this clip last week. It was at work. It was done in a controlled environment. We all had eye protection, so it was safe. There was no violations going on. But you're really going to think this is cool, so check this out.
Look at it because you can see the difference on it.
Yeah.
But there you really can't, but like here you can see what the process is. Removing the paint so we can powder coat it.
Wasn't that badass? That was awesome. So what that was is, you know, I at my ad agency, we're more than just an ad agency. We're a fabrication shop, and we combine the fabrication with the digital advertising and just advertising industry aspect, and we create experiential advertising booths or trade show booths. So sometimes stuff like that happens where they have to laser gun paint off of an old metal piece so they can powder coat it with something new. And that's one of the big things I love about my job is just how diverse the work is every single day. Sometimes I'm working on my computer. Sometimes I get to adventure downstairs to the shop and see what the shop guys are doing. And usually it's always something that's like really engaging and really fun to watch. So hopefully I can get some more cool stuff to share with you guys as I continue my work there. So I really want to start, we're going to go over to the table over here. We're going to go over to camera angle number 2, and I want to start doing some media review with you guys. Now, one of the things I have over on my wall over here is my media collection. It's most of it. Other bits of my media collection are scattered back in my hometown of Danville, Illinois. Most of it's here in Baltimore with me. What I want to do is actually kind of share some of it with you. And part of the sharing process is me digitizing some of this old media, digitizing some of the pages so I can drag them onto my computer, maybe turn them into a fun design, or just have it archived in a folder because, you know, I collect the advertisements and I study the advertisements and I kind of figure out, okay, what strategy is being applied in this advertisement, and could it be applicable to something new that I'm doing or whatnot. So let's go over to our I gotta switch to the lapel mic, I forgot. We're a high-tech production here at the Jack Girouard Show. Lots of, we actually have a crew of about 30 guys off camera right now. You can't see them right now, of course, because, you know, that would really lower the production value if you saw a bunch of guys running around carrying cables and giving coffee to the actors and stuff like that. We're gonna go over to camera angle number 2, over to the drafting table. Alrighty. Now, I don't want to show you out my window because then you guys will be able to geolocate me and see where I'm at, because there's actually a really famous or well-known building right outside of my a studio apartment window, and I don't want to expose myself. So what we have here, before we get into the media review, this is a canister of, let's get the light. See that? Yeah. It's a canister of Pro Image 100 Kodak film. It's 100 ISO. What I've used this for, I didn't actually use this. I'll bring the cameras over. So I didn't use this in a normal camera like this one, like this Super Programmer pen tab. No, I actually used this 100 ISO film for this bad boy right here. I'm really happy about this. So if you don't know what this is a Nishika N8000 3D camera. What that means is that it takes 3D images. Now, usually if you want to buy one of these, you have to go on eBay and probably spend about $300, $400. I mean, they're crazy. They range all over the place. But sometimes you get very lucky and the thrift shop owner or whoever has this camera does not know what they have. And the shop that I bought this from, the thrift shop that I bought this from, had no idea what they had. And I got this thing for 20 bones. Can you see that? I got that for 20 bones. So yeah, I'm really proud of that. And this is the canister of film that I just pulled through it. I mean, this thing is essentially a toy camera. If you know what a toy camera is, here I'll show you what a toy camera. So this is essentially what I have right here in my hand. This is what a toy camera is. It's completely mechanical, practically zero. This is actually zero electronics. I'm pretty sure there's no film in this. Each one of these cameras opens different. Yeah. So as you can see, the inside, there's just a mechanical crank here, a mechanical shutter. I don't know if you can see that. Now it's jammed up. Nice one, Girouard. And then the lens in here, I'm really trying to show you. It's kind of hard to see, but it's just a little tiny, let's see if we can, it's just a little tiny slit. It's a little light slit in there. While an actual camera, the aperture is, I don't know if you can see, I actually have film in this, so I don't want to shutter this, but if you know what an actual aperture looks like, it's a bunch of little fingers that close around each other and close up, or I would change the amount of light that's let in. So anyways, the only reason I bring over the toy camera is because this Nishika N8000 is technically a toy camera. It's got a mechanical shutter. The only batteries that are in it are in here. I put 2 AA's, and that's just to trigger the flash up top. You probably could put batteries in this to trigger the flash up top. I did have a flash for this, but last weekend was St. Patrick's Day weekend, and I got drunk, and I was exploring, meeting new people in Baltimore, and having a great time. I think I was out till like 1 a.m. And I had this camera with me to take some pictures. I think I got a couple. I have no idea what they look like yet. But as I was getting in this random stranger's car, who was cool and offered to give me a ride home, he was a cool guy. He was my age. He was, yeah. I had got to know him. I spent the night with him and found out that he was a pretty cool guy. So it's not like I got in a totally random stranger's car. No, but yeah, I dropped this right before I got in his car, and I broke the flash off the top, so I'm gonna have to go to Walmart and buy myself a new flash. If you look up the photos, you can see what the 3D camera actually does. It's pretty impressive. It does some pretty cool images, and the hope is to essentially recreate some of those images that you can see when you Google. Now, I'm about to do some work here, and what I like to do is, I've mentioned last episode, is if you want to put on your favorite music, or you don't have to listen to that album that I recommended. I recommend you do listen to it, but if you want to listen to your own stuff, and that's totally fine with me. Now would be the time to kind of get into your zone. And if you got some work to do too, that's another great thing to be doing during this time while I'm kind of doing some operational stuff for myself, because this is, I consider this work, but this is hobby work. This is important to me, and I can use this stuff in the future for creative projects, and like I said, just insight into old advertisements. First thing I want to start with here is, and we got a fancy tool that we're going to use here too. I bet you guys are real excited for that. First thing I want to show you guys is these Ford Times magazines. Let's see if I can get you down even closer to these. Oh yeah, you guys are in for a real treat. Ford Times, what this basically is in the 70s, I think this is from the 70s, June 1973 for this specific copy. What they would do is your local Ford dealer, the Davis Ford Company Inc., this is in Ithaca, Michigan. Essentially what they do is, if you ended up on their mailing list, they would send you a catalog. And what Ford would do is they created this thing called the Ford Times, which is basically just a big advertisement for Ford. There's tons of stories in here, tons of news articles, if you can even call them that. The entire idea of print media was to make people think, like sometimes make people think that they are reading an actual news article or listening or reading something from a trusted source like the New York Times or something, but in reality it was straight from the horse's mouth, straight from Ford. So Ford could pretty much say whatever they wanted about their brand and their cars and make consumers think, oh wow, Ford really is the best car. So that's a cool graphic. In fact, that'll be the first thing that we scan. So what I have right here is an iScan, and before we get into that, I'm going to go back and check the audio real quick. Sorry for doing this, checking the audio too often. I'm just like really self-conscious because last time it messed up. All right, turn the volume up just a little bit if you didn't hear me, because I'm pretty sure testing the audio shuts that down so you guys can't hear it. There's this one account where he takes one of these scanners. It's essentially a document scanner, but built into a wand. And he goes around the subway and he creates textures for his designs by just scanning the walls. Or like we could scan this wood grain right here, and we would have a JPEG of the wood grain that you guys are seeing. So what I can do is scan this design. So let's turn this baby on, and let's crank it up to high DPI. I'm gonna scan the other one. There's some terrain here, sorry. And one of the reasons I like all this old media too is that all the films in here are done with film, of course, because digital wasn't a thing. So once they were converted into lithography, I'm pretty sure these are lithography photos, but they're also film photos. But once the whole process is done, whatever the process is, the colors just age like fine wine. Like, I wish you guys could get an idea of how great these colors look in person. And there's some badass photos in a lot of these magazines. I think I read through this earlier. Dad said a bad word. This is like a story or whatever, like a fictional story. And I guarantee throughout this entire thing, it's just talk about how, oh, well, good thing Daddy's driving the new Ford. Like, just to slip shit in like that to gaslight homeowners and fathers of the families or heads of the household to buy a Ford. Oh man, look at this. Look at that. America's best-selling wagons from the Wagon Master. Oh yeah. I won't spend too much time talking about the word content. Oh, that's cool. That's some great typography. As I say, I'm not going to spend too much time on the word content. I comment on the typography. But no, I'm really focused more on the graphic aspects of this, like the graphic of this station wagon right here. Typography and, you know, the forms and shapes you make with text, that counts as a design. So I mean more like what these stories are about. I just know that these stories are gaslighting people into buying a Ford, so I don't need to read it out to you. You can read it on your own. I mean, the text is big enough where you guys can see it. Kind of an interesting graphic. You know, one of the things I want to do with the show is like learn how to be a better commentator. It's so lame to say, oh yeah, this picture's cool, I guess. I mean, that's not enough. People want to hear you talk about the design more. And since I'm only a minor in graphic design, and this is just a hobby, but I know that the focal point is these people walking right here. And I know this is the ground, this is the background. I could tell you that the mountains contrast with the sky well. You can kind of tell in how I'm talking about this that I was a minor in graphic design. You know, when I went to my graphic design classes in college at Michigan State, you know, I really enjoyed it, and I met some very cool people who were some great artists. But I mean, full-on graphic designers. I mean, I work with graphic designers every day at my job. They just speak a different language sometimes, and that's a reason why you don't have people who are doing account work and then also doing design and graphic work at the same time. You know, we need each other in order to get a good job done, I guess. But it's definitely cool to kind of explore and expand your horizons and maybe build a little bit of skill in those other areas instead of just being stuck doing one type of work. Glove compartment. I might go back through these another day too. Maybe not on the stream, but if I see an element that I didn't scan now, I might go back for it. For 1973, this is held up pretty well, but all the pages have browned a little bit. I like that picture of that hot air balloon. It's hard with the staple down the middle. Oh, shit, what's this? Some ideas never caught on, like this 1901 Phelps tractor. It was powered by steam and controlled by reins. It's hilarious. I think we can make this happen. We got to bring it back. Maybe it will catch on. Harvard's unique bush country. Lame. No, that's a cool bonsai. This looks like watercolor. I like that. All right, let's see if I'm about to move on to something's cooking in Calabash. I'm assuming Calabash is a place. I've never been there. Since I see a crab, I'm assuming it's East Coast out here. That looks like a pretty big ass shrimp. A That's a mussel, that's a clam, and that's an oyster. Yeah, this has got to be East Coast. It can be in Maryland for all I know. I don't know anything about the East Coast. I've only been here like a month. Oh, that's cool. It's kind of a vintage camper. These are all gonna look so fucked up when I pull it up on my computer. Yeah, just the old campers here. That's a cool picture. Oh, look at that right there. The American dream. That's what this was. Back at the peak of America. Maybe not in everything, though. Now that I think about that, there's maybe a lot of bad things going on at this time. African safari in Canada. That's interesting. I bet all those animals are super depressed. This camel doesn't know what the fuck he's doing in Canada. Christ. It's probably cold as hell. These animals are all freezing. I think this magazine has run its course. Ooh, but one last really cool ad. Look at that. Very fun. Ford Mustang. What makes the Mustang? Let me read this. What makes the Mustang different is the way it looks, handles, and makes you feel. All right, that was lame. No, there's an ad that I keep. Baby. Why is there a baby there? The baby's reading the Ford Times, dude. The baby's about to buy a Ford. Yeah, see? Husband and wife cars. Oh, yeah, Ford's perfect for if you're a husband and wife. Like I said, this entire thing is just like a gaslighting magazine. Like they made tons of copies of these. The entire thing's just to gaslight you. Ooh, the Maverick. The Maverick. The Maverick looks good. I like the Maverick. Oh my gosh, just look how the colors aged on that luggage. It's like a turquoise against that yellow. And the pavement is almost reflecting like that pavement's probably reflecting blue off the sky. And then the windshield's reflecting that blue too. So that's like, well, you got your primary colors. You got blue, yellow, and red in the taillights. We got more red here. That's nice. All right. I said I was going to move on to another piece of media. I'm going to zoom this out just a little bit so you guys can see what's going on. A lot of the magazines I have, let's just start with the back advertisement. I mean, that's just really pretty. Evan Rude. So with these outdoor magazines, these are my favorite ones to collect because usually on the back there's a cigarette ad or inside there's a cigarette ad. I guarantee we'll find some in there. But you know how I talked about the Ford Times? It's all about gaslighting men or heads of the household into buying a Ford. Maybe I didn't mention the men part. But with this era of magazines, like this is from 1956, so mid-century to I'd say the 70s. It kind of carried over into the 80s a little bit. Advertising was all about appealing to the head of the household because the head of the household was usually the guy with all the money. And the head of the household, most times, was the man. So pretty much these magazines were just right off the bat. Oh my gosh. I haven't looked at this in a while. But as I was saying, these magazines, their goal is to kind of play into the fantasy and play into the hobbies and what the heads of the households like. So I mean, these magazines specifically also advertise to kids as well. Like there's some like junior fishing. Oh my gosh, there's so many good ads in here. I don't want to start flipping through it yet. It's mostly made with the idea that the person who ordered this magazine is a guy. He's an outdoorsman, and he's got a family and kids. He's got a wife and kids. Yep, see right here. Yep, there's the champion. There's our head of the household. He's winning and all that stuff. Oh, look, I'm taking my family out of the boat. Yeah, for fishermen who love their families. That's great. You need to buy this boat because then your family will be happy and your family will love you. That's like pretty much what these entire outdoor magazines are about. And with that, these magazines can't just be advertising content like this. Like they need to actually have, there's a reason they get this magazine, and it's because there's this Pall Mall cigarette ad. We'll come back to this in a little bit, but I want to go to so these magazines have stories in them, right? They have columns and pieces on, like this one specifically is on a fishing trip. So men would buy this magazine because they go, oh, I want to hear about fishing stories. There's no internet, or they can't watch YouTube videos or TikTok videos, obviously. But the way I think about this is this magazine is the equivalent of a TikTok video, and men who've wanted to watch TikTok videos on bass fishing lures. So like there is some genuine content in here. But in some of these other ones, the stories get more extreme. There's one story in one of the other ones where it's like the wild bear hunt. I wrestled with a bear, and it's a straight up fabrication about this burly man fighting a bear. And I can just picture all the readers like looking through the magazine, just being like, "No way, he was fighting a bear? What?" So sorry for spieling on that, but that's kind of the mindset I want to put you in when I look through these outdoor magazines. Oh my gosh, the pictures in these are so fucking good. Like it's too bad that there's a crease here. If I ever wanted to destroy this, I would flatten it out, but I don't want to break the spine in this. And that's a great action shot of the bass coming out of the water too, right here. And like I said on the Ford magazines, like you can't understand how great these colors have aged over a phone camera. Like you're looking through an iPhone camera right now. In person, everything is just so saturated, and it seems so classic. Like this is just meant to be. I want to live in this picture. I want to be in the boat with that guy right now. That's how good this photo is. Maybe I'm falling victim to the exact thing I was just talking about. So this page looks nuts. Like, come on now. I mean, yeah, to some people it just looks like a typical advertisement, but I don't know, to me it just looks really cool. Not just this magazine, but all advertisement from this era was just catering to men and the idea of them having families, which is like, I guess not a terrible thing. Not a terrible thing at all. But it's because men had all the money. That's the only reason that all these advertisements, because, oh, look at me and my beautiful wife. We just bought our house and we're about to have a baby, and I love smoking Pall Mall cigarettes. Like, I get it. They cater to the men because men had all the money. Now things are different. That's only if I'm like ever serious about like going back, and I probably will go back and look at these scans that I've made eventually, but it's just not a big priority right now. This is more just the process of me sharing the advertisements with you guys and talking about them, and then actually kind of knowing what I have in my collection. Okay, I do love this. It's like an orangish red, and then like the browning of the paper. It looks really good with that. These old ultra real sketches. That's not a picture. That's an airbrush. That's the word I was looking for. These are airbrush pictures, and all the old airbrush stuff looks so good. Let's see if there's another airbrush in here. See, those are airbrush of reels. What beer is this? It's Budweiser. I want to find it. Oh my gosh, look at this airbrush. Like, I'm pretty sure that's airbrush. Isn't that just beautiful? Like, come on now. It's just some beautiful design. This is watercolor, I'm pretty sure, but this is airbrush. This whole page is probably done with lithography. Yeah, what am I saying? The entire thing was lithography. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how the different art was created and then turned into lithography. That'd be a fun thing to find out in my own time, in my free time. No other Four Roses. No other whiskey says it as well. It's time to enjoy the finest. It's Four Roses time. That's lame. You can come up with a better slogan with that. That's why Four Roses isn't around anymore. That's going to be me one day. I'm going to get a big 2-barrel shotgun like that and take an awesome photo like that. You know, the American Cancer Society. They write in the same magazine as this Pall Mall ad, which I'm pretty sure there's more cigarette ads than that. This ad wasn't doing much. I know it was trying. I'll have to come back and scan a lot of these later. I'm just really enjoying looking at all these ads. These are all the tiny ads where they were really had a small budget and they could only afford that little tiny ad space. How to row a clear course in the fog. Oh, it's a bourbon ad. So it's saying you gotta drink bourbon to be able to clear the fog. That's funny. I love that green. Yeah, I'm telling you, the fishing rod ads, I've got more fishing rod ads than the ones that are in here, but those are just so beautiful. Living is easy with the lawn boy. Here we go again with yeah, I'm the man, and oh, there's the pretty girl in the boat. Sex sells, folks, I'm telling you. Oh my gosh, look at that. Oh, that's the cam, right? Yeah, it's the cam of the boat motor. And then these are the pistons. Oh my gosh, that's such a good graphic. I love old ads. I'm telling you. I'm having such a fun time looking at this. Oh, that's a great Miller ad. Look how old those cans are. See, but the bottles still look this way. The new Miller High Life bottles. I don't know if you can see, but this page kind of has a little bit of a blue tint to it. A bluish green tint. That red on that fly really pops. Again, another great film picture. Everything was painted, it used to be so great, like bright red paint, bright greens, great contrast. Same with automotive. Now everything is gray. Our world has turned gray. I mean, I guess that's one of the big, I hate to say it, but I guess that's one of the big selling points of electric vehicles. It's just not feasible for an electric car to compete with a gasoline car. Electric cars are still so expensive that it's not worth it to buy it over a gas vehicle. But one of the big selling points of electric cars is kind of leaning into the fun design, the fun colors, leaning into the stuff, kind of design we haven't seen for a while, is the out-of-the-box stuff. I mean, as much as people hate the Cybertruck, that's one of the big selling points of the Cybertruck, is that the design is so crazy and out there, and nobody would ever imagine that being in our world, because our world has turned gray, and all cars look like gray eggs turned on their side. That's definitely what we're going to see, especially as this adoption of electric vehicles becomes more and more common, is you're just going to see the design and colors getting crazier and crazier, just trying to entice as many people as possible and wean them off the idea of a gas car. We'll have gasoline cars for the next 40 years, 60 years, and we're not going to run out of gasoline. Like if the level of gasoline people always say this, people always say like, oh, we're going to run out of gasoline in 60 years. I'm like, yeah, fucking right. You really think the people controlling the gas, you really think ExxonMobil and our government, who has all these oil drums, is just gonna be like, oh yeah, we got to use it all up. We got to use it all up because the demand is so high. No, they'll just stop letting people use the oil and keep it for themselves. We're never gonna run out of gas. People are just going to be stingy with it, and it's gonna become crazy expensive. It's never gonna go away totally. Sorry, that's my gasoline spiel. Oh, gee, yeah. See, this is what I was talking about earlier with like these crazy fabrications. Like, this could be real, but who in the 70s, and who am I to find out if this is a real story or not? Like, I can just tell by the picture that I don't even have to read it. This is a story about a guy. I fought a wild hog, and that's my adventure story. And then the readers are the outdoorsmen who are readers and who don't have media literacy. I was like, whoa, is this real? Man, I got to tell all my guys about this, and also share the fact that I heard about it in Sports Afield magazine. So now all my friends are going to buy their own subscriptions so they see the crazy story for themselves firsthand. Nails in camp. Outdoor nuisance looks like an info on snakes, how to beat the snakes. Budget fishing in the Bahamas. Oh, that's cool. That's a cool graphic. Oh man, I love that. Crow shooting. Oh God, these people are eating crow. How long do fish remember? I like that. Did you see the old boat motors? Just getting me fired up about old motor design and design from the 50s. I've got a whole book here. I won't open it up, but I've got a whole book right here that my mom got me. My mom got me this for Christmas. It's just a bunch of ads. Ashton, I don't know if you can read that. I don't know if they're a publishing company or if they're just producing a bunch of books, but they have a lot of great books on design. They haven't cornered a market. What is it? Blatz. Yeah, here's the beer ads. Schlitz. You like Schlitz? Logan Zawicki, my buddy, he showed me some SNL skit. It was pretty funny. I actually think in this magazine that we're looking through, right here, I think the last page is, it's a Schlitz ad. You like Schlitz? Oh man, I'm happy that this thing hasn't crumbled yet. I'm just constantly worried that my stream is going to fall apart and my audio is going to go bad like it did last time. But it's okay, because when I cut this in post, it'll seem like I'm not worried. I'll just cut out all the parts where I'm like freaking out about my audio. Last week, I flashed my email at you. I haven't gotten any emails yet, which is sad. I'm just a lonely man with no emails from zero fans of the Jack Girouard Show. But I do want to remind you guys that I do have an email. It's open. You can send me whatever. Please don't zip bomb me. You can zip bomb Fox News. I don't care. But please don't zip bomb me. I can tell if somebody's like scamming me. So don't worry. I can screen it. My email, it's open. Eventually, I'll collect up enough to where I can actually review them. Because I know Johnny Carson on the show, he would read fan mail and he would do funny bits with that. So one of the things I want to try to do in the future is maybe do funny bits, or if you do have a genuine question about anything that I'm doing, or a project, or a suggestion on something you want to see me do, then this would be the place to get a hold of me and say what you got to say to me. Email me at jrg. Fuck, I gotta remember my own email. Email me at go ahead and send me an email at jrgshow.mail@gmail.com. It's always open. Always taking emails. Boom, that's the one. That's the take. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of the show. You think it's going well so far? I'm pretty happy with how this is going. I'm actually very happy with how this show is going. I haven't eaten any dinner yet, so what I'm going to do is eat some pepperoncinis on the live stream. Average struggle meal. That's great. I love good pepperoni. I put these on Italian beef. My Nana, she just visited. My Nana and Baba. I used to call him Baba when I was a kid. I call him Bob now. Yeah, they stopped by. They visited me. They were really kind to me. They got me a bunch of food, including these pepperoncinis. They dropped off some Italian beef. Nana made me some Italian beef. Got that in my fridge. And then she also put together my Grandma Carol's meatball recipe. Those are so good. There's some memories flooding back when I was eating Grandma Carol's meatballs. Those are really good. Let's get into the second activity I had planned. I'm not going to do too much of the second activity. We can kind of put that off to next week, the heavy lifting of it. But what I can do is I can brief you guys on what exactly I'm doing with this second activity that you're about to see. And it'll be a good thing to get you guys up to speed. So what we're going to do next is, let me walk you through this. We're going to do some sewing. You guys know what sewing is? Of course you do. If you know me, you know that I've sewn stuff before. I like to sew stuff. Let me give you a little tour of what I've sewn before. I have a surplus of a lot of old clothes. And what I've been doing is I've been turning them into stuffed animals. That's right, folks. This is a real stuffed animal that I made. I made this in college. And I've sold a couple of these. They've actually been pretty profitable. People like the idea of a stuffed animal that's, durable and fun, and, it functions as a nice stuffed animal. It's soft, because I use the same material that they use in whatever those fucking Squishmallow things are that went crazy. But the reason these sell so well is because it's not creating new trash. It's not creating new materials for the purpose of my project. It's actually using old stuff, old materials, preventing stuff from going into a landfill. The thrift store is the final line for the clothing industry. The fast fashion goes out to all the retail stores. All the stuff that doesn't get bought gets put to the discount stores like Kohl's and TJ Maxx, blah, 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 blah. And then when they can't sell it at the discount store, it gets put on the last act rack, and it either ends up in the garbage, or it ends up in a thrift store, or gets sent overseas to children in Africa. Who knows? What I've done here is I've turned it into a stuffed animal instead of doing all that jazz. Here's a fox that I've done. This is Eddie the smoking fox. I've made a little hole in his mouth so you can put a cigarette in his mouth. Actually, I can show you. I've practiced my design by making a poster graphic. I bet I could find that poster graphic for you. Yeah, let me find the poster graphic. Where would that be? It's probably going to be in my documents. The documents, let's search. So I'll show you this picture first. And we want to go to screen share. And so this right here is, I photoshopped this image of Eddie the smoking fox. This is a real cigarette, but the tip of this is actually AI. I added that in with AI. And this, actually, everything in this photo except for Eddie the smoking fox here and the smoke is AI. I used Adobe's AI prompt stuff and just trial and errored. So it wasn't as simple as highlighting the whole blank area and being like, all right, fill it with a bar scene. No, like I had each individual object, the money, the cards, the poker chips, the glasses, the glass of whiskey, this light, the sign behind, the bar behind, all of that was, each had its own separate AI prompt. And even the table, like this table used to be my roommate Parker's kitchen table or dining table, and I just AI'd it into look into this green felt poker table. But what I did was, to kind of like advertise the idea of my stuffed animals, I created this poster. So I used the same image that maybe the typography choice or the design isn't perfect. This was probably like right when I started, getting to the design. I don't know if I could make anything better than this. I'm sure with a lot of practice I could. This is kind of the idea. The idea was to have my stuffed animals be addicted to stuff, like have these really bad vices. And I wanted Eddie to be addicted to gambling and cigarettes. The idea was, you got to adopt one of my stuffed animals to help him get over their bad habit. You have to sponsor Eddie so he stops gambling. The gambling's too much. You gotta sponsor him. Yeah, see, these are some of the original pictures I took of Eddie in that he's just sitting at the dining table, sitting with the chair, his tail's propping him up. And here's that photo. He's a little overexposed in that. And then I just slowly doing trial and error, finding out which looks best. To see, I was adding in a bar here. You can see only some of the wall is wood panel, the other one is white, like my original kitchen wall. You guys are gonna think this is funny. So part of what I had to do was I was like trial and erroring this neon sign because it was a bar, it needed a neon sign. It didn't originally say 88. AI came up with this instead. Came up with SS, and it was not going to be a good look at all. Like, it would be a terrible look to have a bar that Eddie's in where there's a sign that says SS on it. So I vetoed that fast. I got rid of that and changed it into an 88. And then by the time I was making this light here, I was like, okay, we'll just cover up the sign completely because I want to forget about what was on that neon sign. I didn't do it. It was AI. AI is the one who made that. Here, I want to show you guys the most recent stuffed animal I did that actually sold. Yeah, this is a panda I did. I did this for my roommate Parker's girlfriend, Rachel. Parker paid me, said, hey, I want to give this to my girlfriend for, what was it, Parker, an anniversary, Valentine's Day, who fucking knows. But yeah, she wanted a panda, and I made her a panda. I think it turned out pretty well. She still has it. It's not destroyed yet. But my idea with this one is I wanted to edit this into a poster eventually. Maybe I do that on one of the episodes coming up. But I wanted to edit this panda being addicted to lean. I wanted it to be surrounded with styrofoam cups. It's just, or what's that one? You guys can leave a comment later. That one really fat rapper who's on Instagram Reels right now. Who performs sitting on a couch, and he has a cup of lean, and he sings the song "I Can't Put Down the Cup." Maybe I can edit the panda into something like that. I'm going to show you guys what I'm sewing right now, though. The reason that I'm talking about the sewing is because I want to sew something right now, not a stuffed animal. We'll make stuffed animals on the show later. So what I've got here is it doesn't look like it, but these used to be pants. You can kind of see the belt loop. Yeah, you can kind of see the belt loops. These used to be some plaid pants that belonged to my dad. He threw them in the trash one day, and I was like, what? Why are you throwing those away? I didn't have this conversation with him, but I dug in our dumpster, and I pulled out your old pants because I thought they looked cool. But I cut it up, and what this is going to be, you'll see it here. This is the first time I've ever done this. It's going to be a jacket. I'm basing it off of a jean jacket I have. And the belt loops are now the waist. Let me move this. Yeah, the belt loops are now kind of the waist. It'll sit lower. It'll kind of sit like right at the belt loop. It looks like a vest right now. And then what I have as well is I have the pants pockets to go right here on the chest, like the chest pockets. I haven't decided if I want to do, because what I'll do here is I'll bring it here in the center. I haven't decided if I want to do buttons or if I want to do a zipper all the way up. One of the biggest, this should be pretty easy to fit to to make myself look slim in it, because I need to look sexy and slim. Pretty common handsome and sexy right now. Everybody drop handsome and sexy in the chat. So these are some other fabrics that I'm going to use in this jacket that I'm putting together. I think I'm going to use this for the inside sleeve linings. This is a piece of a cashmere sweater. My dad's old cashmere sweater that I accidentally shrunk in the dryer at the freshman dorms at Acres Hall at Michigan State. I was an idiot. I threw it was a good cashmere sweater. Like look at the pattern on this. Like it was a pretty cool pattern, right? But I was an idiot and I shrunk it. And so I tried stretching it out a bunch. I'm like, oh, I can make it go back to normal. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I obviously didn't get it right. So I'm like, all right, I'll just cut it up. And I'm now planning on using these as the sleeve liner. It's really warm and it's also really soft. So once I create the sleeves for this jacket, this is going to be on the inside of the sleeve as a liner. Since I'm pretty sure I don't have enough spare material of the pants, because remember, these used to be pants and now it's a jacket. Oh, I also I forgot to show you this. So the pants pockets, the original pants pockets on this pair of pants is now actual pockets in the side of the jacket. Is that not fucking awesome? Here, I'll hold it. Like, look, the pockets still function as pockets. This is on a good path here. So, and like I said, the ass pockets that were on these pair of pants, those will go on my chest. So the ass pockets will now be my chest pockets, and then the normal pockets like that you would have here are now on the side of the jacket. All right, you guys get the idea, so I don't over-explain that. But back to my point about not having enough of that plaid pants material to make sleeves. I've got this old pair of denim jeans. Oh man, that looks really blue on camera. What I'm gonna do is mix these materials. Like, this is almost gonna be like a patch jacket. I have no idea if this is gonna look good or not, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna turn the pant legs into the sleeves, have the cashmere liner, the yellow. Oh man, that's all going together really well. The yellow is a little bit different than these yellow patches on the jacket material, but we will see how it works out. And then for the main liner to go on the inside to fill up all this space right here, the main liner is going to be this blue shirt. This blue shirt will kind of match the denim jeans, kind of it's close. This is going to be on the inside, so it's not going to match perfectly. And I think once the piece is all together, the slight shade differences between the different yellows and the different blues, I think it'll work out fine once it's a complete piece and actually has some harmony going. And once it's all done and it's all been fitted to my body, we'll see if it's good. We'll see if it's I don't know. We'll see if it's a complete piece. I don't want to start this project now. I would like to start this next week as we're getting closer to the end of our time here. We've done about an hour and 40 minutes. That includes the 15-minute pre-show, of course. So thank you guys very much. I think I'm going to end the show here for this week. Tune in next week. We'll have some fun stuff going on. And I was talking to my buddies. I got a lot of really nice messages about the show I did last week. My buddy Andrew sent me a text, and he said, yeah, sorry I couldn't watch the whole live. And I'm like, you know what, that's cool, because since the live take is so long and there's so many spaces where I'm like correcting myself, struggling to come up with something to say, it's really great to be able to take that and edit it down into a fun episode that's engaging. So I never expect any of you guys to watch the full live or to stay engaged the entire time, because that's not feasible to do during a live take. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to bring episode 2 to a close. Thanks for tuning in, folks. I'll see you guys next week.
You have now concluded a live episode of The Jack Girouard Show. Look out for new episodes, cut reruns, and clips, only on the Jack R. Girouard Archive.